You're such an asshole.
It's time for the annual ritual me and the Cappy fam seem to go through where I say, I'm going on vacation. And you guys are like, oh, I knew you couldn't stay away. It's like, no, I have people who already paid. I don't take on any new requests. And I get through the people who have already paid, of which there's a little bit of a backup now. So Asshole Consulting will be closed for the next 4 days. Already took 3 days off. And I'm going to eat like a pig and play video games and not go to the gym and just be a lazy, debauched piece of shit. I'm going to be a Democrat. I'm going to do my best Democrat impersonation. Actually, that would, if I was going to be a real Democrat, I'd ask you guys to pay for my debauchery and laziness and shit. But so Asshole Consulting will be closed for the next couple days. We have requested, if you have requests, the thing and the stuff and the do and the what. And this Justin writes, hey, Cappy, I've been writing out my bucket list and would like to hear your recommendations. What are some things you've done that you'd suggest, places to visit, food to try, experiences worth having? So very good. And I had to really focus my thought, not life advice like, oh, don't do this. And oh, I should have done that. No regrets, no life advice. This is just things you should do that I think everyone should do, regardless of whether you're me or not, right? Because what my bucket list may not, there's things I would like to do, but I'm like, yeah, most people don't want to do that. So these are things that I've done that I like, or a couple things I have yet to do that I think everyone should do. And they are in no particular order or organization. I just thought, and I went through it. I'm like, dang, Utah is like a third of my bucket list is in Utah. Should have thought this through. Just move to Utah. Yeah. All right. So number one that came to mind, and I had to sit okay, and it's kind of shocking how few oh yeah, you got to do this. It's like, wow, my bucket list is somewhat limited. So I would recommend you drive to Alaska, ideally on a motorcycle, but you just drive to Alaska. And you have to go, however you get there, you have to do a stint from Banff to Jasper. I think it's Highway 93. You must do the Canadian Rockies on your way up. Then you drive into whatever, Fairbanks. If you want to get into the interior, that Can-Am Highway, I would recommend you do that. I would recommend you take probably at least 3 weeks to do that. Or somebody really likes driving long distances. And the problem is you want to do it in July, June. So you have the most amount of sun so you can see everything. You do not want to be driving through the Canadian Rockies at night. You will miss out. It's like going to a strip club in a cave with no lights. You're not going to see anything. When you get back to the mainland U.S., you can drive at night. You also have to do the big 5 parks in Utah, which is Arches, Canyonlands, Capitol Reef, Zion. What's the 5th one? Why am I escaped? The 5th one's escaping me. Capitol Reef. Oh, and Bryce. You have to do those. Different hikes within them each. I have not done Capitol Reef. But Arches, you just drive through. Canyonlands, you look at. I still need a month to do that thing proper. But yeah, I would maybe do some pedal biking around in Moab. Train up in Zion. You absolutely want to do Angel's Landing. If you can't do that, do the East Mesa Overlook to look at Angel's Landing. And then Bryce Canyon, I think it's Sunset Point to Sunrise Point. You do this loop. You go down into the valley and you look at the hoodoos and you come up and you loop back around. Those are all musts. Alvaro's, the best Mexican, indisputed champion of best Mexican food in these United States of America, arguably the world. Alvaro's, where? Utah. Again, St. George, Utah. Utah's got it going on, except slutty fake Mormon wives who sleep around, and you got all your MLM marketing scams. Aside from that, yeah, Utah's that's the shit, man. That is the shiznit, as we would say in the late 90s. Some kind of cross-country trip. I'd recommend doing a big old loop 9094 down South Pacific Coast Highway, cut over Interstate 10, and then back to wherever it is you live. Yes, you're not going to see everything. It's a big country. But I'd be doing a big old cross country trip. Where's my list? Climb one snow-capped peak. It doesn't have to be snow-capped at that moment in time. You should climb one real mountain. So if there's snow on top of it, now don't be some hill in Minnesota. Oh, see, there's snow on top of it. No, I mean like an actual mountain, snow on top of it. Take your pick. It doesn't matter. Just so you can see what the top of a mountain looks like. Train up. And a lot of these, like in Colorado, you can drive. I think it's St. Albert or Mount Albert. You drive to 13,200 feet. And then you walk up 800 feet to the 14,000 foot peak. And then you get to see a beautiful view. I'll even allow that. But you got to do like some hiking to get up to the top. Things that peaks, if you're looking, Hallett Peak, Deseret Peak. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, Mount Laramie Mountain. Many mountains out there for you to climb. Climb one so you could get the top of a view of a mountain. Have a threesome if you can swing it. Ladies, not so much for you because, well, some of you, yes. Most of you, you don't even like one guy. Why would you like two? Good scotches. If I were to go back to drinking, yeah, goddamn right, I go back to Rumpleman's, but that's me. But I do believe everyone can enjoy a good scotch. So it would take a while, but sample some scotches. My favorite is Lafroig 10. There are some that are better, but they're quite expensive. But go and have like a little scotch phase. Some video games, we could talk days about this. You cannot leave this planet until you conquer Red Dead Redemption and Ghost of Tsushima. Those two are spectacular top games. I already have a top 10 movie list. Again, that would be up to debate. I think if you look on my YouTube channel, you'll find my favorite top 10 movies, but we're talking Die Hard, Kelly's Heroes, Casablanca, Midnight Run. Those are like the top 4 right there. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Once Upon a Time in the West, the spaghetti westerns. I liked them before, but as I get older, I really appreciate how excellent they are. Duck You Sucker, also known as A Fistful of Dynamite. Those are excellent. Maybe not top 10, but they're up there. Guns of Navarone. All those classic World War II movies like Bridge Over the River Kwai, The Great Escape, Bridge of Ramagan. Bridge Too Far is an excellent one. The Longest Day. So they're all up there. Day drinking and walking through suburban trails. I did this probably when I was 45, 46. I enjoyed it. I don't know anyone else who has done it because I got sick and tired of looking at it for all my life. If you go read the book, Zero World Problems, it's my latest book. There's a little vignette. I think you can even, if you look up my video, Drinking Rumplemans from a Biffy, that I took that excerpt from the book audiobook and put it up there so you can listen to that. But the short version is many of you, pretty much all of you, you have driven through the suburbs at one point in time in your life, and you see all these trails and these meandering paths, and there's hundreds of thousands of miles of these paths and trails and things and you never know where they go. And I'm not kidding. Ever since like when I was a little kid, they would be building a new path. It's some new development, new home. Where does it go? You're a young kid. You never walk them, right? You never know where it goes. Now, as you get older, if you live in the area, well, yeah, there's these main roads and thoroughfares. And, there's the commercial district here and the strip mall over there, and the interstate is there. You're not lost. And if you know north from south, which a surprising, shockingly few number of Americans do, you kind of will always know where you are, but you've never walked on that fucking trail. And one day, back in the Twin Cities, I said, fuck it. The GF was out working because she has a real job. And I said that I'm going to have myself a shot of booze. I'm going to put on my headphones. I'm going to go walk down these trails and figure out where they went. And it meandered, and I found trails and creeks and neighborhoods and soccer fields and baseball diamonds and back to schools. And I came across a liquor store. I found a pond. I bought booze. I drank Rumplemintz and a Biffy. I looked at some ducks. I meandered some more. It was like kind of a coldish fall day, and I found a nice bar that didn't know where it was before. And did I walk all hundreds of thousands of miles of these suburbanite trails and things? No, but I walked some of them, and I kind of don't wonder no more. And so I recommend, and yet you got to have a shot of booze. Maybe bring a flask and nip on it while you go. I prefer to just find a liquor store, I guess. But that was a surprisingly enjoyable, peaceful time. I recommend all of you go to a jazz club once with good jazz, not modern. Like, I hate to be so discriminatory, but if the performer is under 40, no. Find a good jazz performance, a trio, something. Not some loud jazz fusion, edgy acid jazz. Yeah, fuck you. Find a good old jazz club with some good old jazz performers. Sit down, wear a suit, ladies, a dress, if you even know what those are anymore. And go by yourself. Don't bring anyone. Just sit there and listen to the jazz. Have yourself a cocktail or two and enjoy it. Maybe there's food, maybe there's not. I recommend strongly everyone get a convertible. Not rent a convertible. You should own a convertible. It may not be in the budget now, and it may be down the road, and maybe you're in a climate where, okay, you don't do it. But I would recommend everyone get a convertible. It doesn't have to be a nice convertible either. Just to drive down the road with the top down, it's fun. It's fun. And you can find convertibles quite affordably because they're not practical, and there's plenty of divorce. And then Trisha does, I can't make payments on my car anymore. And then you get them picked up. And so I'd recommend a convertible. I would recommend you rent a supercar. That's more for you boys than it is for you girls, because girls aren't that dumb. Guys, go rent your Ferrari for a day. Go rent your Lamborghini. That is kind of more advice just to get it out of your system so you can enjoy the rest of your life not wondering, right? Just go do it. Just rent it. And like, oh, yeah, this is a pain in the ass. They're loud. They're a pain in the ass. So you did that. Restaurants, there's another one called Mancini's. That's about the only place I'd recommend in Minnesota that you go eat. So there's Mancini's, that's in St. Paul. And if it's still open, I would recommend Jack's Cafe, Northeast Minneapolis. If it's still open. Now, add to that, because I was going to say, now that's in the Twin Cities. Obviously, there are many other great places to eat around the nation. Durant's. Before I'd go to Minnesota, go to Durant's in Phoenix. You need to eat at Durant's. That's nice. I like not that the other places I mentioned aren't nice, but I would go to Durant's first, then Mancini's, then Jack's Cafe. If you happen to be in those areas. Mancini's food is actually not that good. It's the ambiance, man. It's fucking amazing. So I'd recommend those places. You need little kids. Now, some of you have children. Some of you don't have children. But I think every person in their life needs to have little shits to spoil, whether that is grandchildren or nieces or nephews. And you need to spoil them when they are like, when they're infants, they don't know what's going on. One, they understand sugar at one. They recognize your face like, that's the guy that gives me free shit and sugar and hangs me upside. That's the guy. That's the fun guy. Of course, the internet goes to shit. Is it coming back? Is it coming back? Well, anyway, with the little kids, whatever adventures you come up with, you got to take them to the park. You got to feed them full of sugar. You give little kids $20 bills. Again, 1, 2, 3, they don't really understand. 4, they know. You say, what do you want? Okay, you can get it. Oh, you can't take them in. Don't take the kids in the truck. You wait for the parents to leave. Hey, you want to go in the truck? Dad won't let me get. Oh, that's too bad. Dad doesn't control my wallet. Yeah, Uncle Aaron's getting you that. Yep. You want the loud, makey bang bang noise toy? Here you go. I got the little ones. Big old giant candy cane. Like it was the size of a cane, like an actual walking cane, but it was about that thick. It was just filled with fucking candy. It was all colorful in it. I think they're like $10 a piece. They're taller than the kids. And the kids are like, it was great. And you got them until about 8 or when their parents give them a screen of any kind, and then they're gone. You'll never see them again. They turn into robot creatures. So when you got the little kids, you gotta do this. You gotta go when they're little, obviously. You gotta go get like the discount day old Wonder Bread at the gas station for a nickel or whatever cheap, right? This is gonna be the best dollar you ever spent in your life. And you get them each a loaf. So everyone's got a loaf. You got a loaf. Number one's got a loaf. Number two's got a loaf. However many kids. You could have 20 fucking kids doing this. It's going to cost you $20 max. All right. Way better money than that drink you try to buy a girl to impress her. Okay. Imagine this, an army of 20 little 3-year-olds, right? Which to the parents now sounds like a nightmare, but thankfully you're not the parent. You each give them a thing of bread, right? And then you take them to the pond or the lake. And then you say, hey, watch this. You take one piece of bread, you look for some bluegills. You start easy, a little piece of bread, you toss it in. And then the fish come up. It's like a frenzy. It's like piranhas, very much like it is a frenzy. That's just one little piece of bread. And you say, all right, hold on. Take a full slice of bread. You toss it in there and just get that. You got to do that. You got to do that. And then the kids' eyes get all so whatever your adventures are, that's the thing. You gotta spoil the little kids somehow. So there's that. Then I'm more of an adventurer type, but again, not everyone's the adventurer type. Before you die, you should do some kind of long distance adventure, whether that could be a marathon that's very common, hiking. You don't have to do the whole Appalachian Trail, but you go over a mountain range, biking long distances, or riding your motorcycle. Like I rode out to Alaska and back. Some kind of long distance journey, either under your own steam or where you are pushing yourself, where you could say, oh, yeah, when I was your age, you see that mountain range over there? Yeah, I started in that town and end up in the town we are now. And kids nowadays don't give a shit, but you know that you did that. I've done that before. Like, I climbed that and I was on top of that and I was on top. And people are like, oh, why'd you do that? I'm like, why don't you just end yourselves now? Like, why are you alive? Why don't you like fun? So there's some kind of adventuring. If you're a cyclist, you bike across the country. You're a marathon runner, run a marathon, that kind of thing. Cliff jumping. I cannot recommend cliff jumping enough. Where you go up on top of a cliff and you jump into water. You want to make sure it's safe. You want to make sure the water's, want to see other people doing it. But that is fun and exhilarating, especially the higher up you go. Highest I did was about 100 feet outside of Taylor Falls, Wisconsin. Atham, look it up. And I don't think I'd ever do that again. But I did it. Swinging rope. You need to find a body of water with a rope that allows you to swing off over the water and fall into the water. You all need to do the Mountain Dew commercial. They're surprisingly few. Thankfully, we have one here in Rapid City. I enjoy that on very hot days. And I'm to this day, I'm the only adult usually out there. Like, only kids know how to have fun. All you adults fucking suck. Like, hey, it's 102 degrees. You want to go to the swing room? Oh, I don't know. What do you want to do? Stay indoors and drink and smoke cigarettes? Yeah, let's do that. But on this 102 degree day, you don't want to swing off and have that refreshing, cool. You don't want to do that. Every kid, though, in the world wants to do it. Another thing, if you could swing it, pay off your mortgage. Not financial advice, though, obviously. But if you can get it where you don't have a mortgage, meaning you're debt free, like legit debt free, it's an amazing feeling very few people get to experience. Like you are so free, and the mental health, the mental relaxation, and the calm and the peace and the security that comes with that. Your bosses to go from like these titans that control you to these little mosquitoes just go, fuck you. I won't do what you tell me. But shh. While your wife is fucking the pool boy and you're here working, that's because you have a mortgage. See, I don't have that. So I don't have to answer to you. So that's one thing. A day in a small town trying the different coffee shops, drinking espresso. This happened in Italy a lot. I was not a fan of Italy. I did not like Italy. I did like parts of it. Venice, obviously. There's a town called Portofino, which is not the same Portofino in the movie Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, I find out, but it is a nice small little town. Just went to espresso shop, drinking espresso and sitting and chilling and looking at the nice architecture. Closely related, different environment. You should spend a week in a small Western town and just get drunk. Find a small Western town where there's like 2 bars, some modicum of a grocery store, which might be the gas station, and you find some rental that's up on, it's one of these 1880s buildings, and there's maybe some things down below, and upstairs you can rent a room for 1 week, just chill out. Ideally, there's like a rocking chair or a patio you could sit on and enjoy the nothingness. And then go get yourself, I mean, don't get rip roaring drunk, but go have yourself a couple cocktails at the bar. Daytime or nighttime, time doesn't matter. You enter that zone of the small Western town and just chill out for a week, and then you'll be done with the week. You need to drive Beartooth Pass, which is in between Montana and Wyoming. I'm not a fan of Yellowstone, but Beartooth Pass, which is adjacent to it, that's definitely something you gotta drive. Small thing to do. Vegas is well, it's not a shithole. I like Vegas. The Strip has become a shithole, and has just become a ripoff. Tourism is down 11% in Vegas because the corpos of the private equities, they've just made it just a ripoff. It's a horrible place. I would not recommend going. I never recommended you go to the Strip. But if you land in Las Vegas, what you should do is get a car rental. Yeah, you could go look at the Hoover Dam. Fine. Okay, it's on the way. You need to drive to Oatman, Arizona and feed the burros, the wild burros, the donkeys out there. Find out what time they come into town. You go into Oatman, you can buy some donkey food, and then you feed the burros. You can get a shirt, and there's a bar there, but you definitely want to feed the burros in Oatman, Arizona. Dinosaur National Monument, some beautiful sceneries. Harper's Lookout, great hiking, but you need to look at their dinosaur display. You need to go, you take the shuttle up to where there's a cliff, and they've built an apparatus around it to protect it from the elements, and you will see an amazing collection of dinosaurs, fossils in the bed. Related, you want to go to Drumheller. Their dinosaur, Drumheller, Alberta in Canada. You want to, that's way the fuck north. If you happen to be there, and you might want to loop that in when you're driving through Canada, I would take a look at the Dinosaur Museum in Drumheller. It's unreal. I've seen a lot of fossil collections. This is just, it's the top. It's the best. And you wouldn't even know about this place. It's way the fuck. So there's that. I would leave one piece of work for a legacy, some kind of work. What is it? Like, I got my books. You might want to leave a song. You might want to leave some art, something you created, so that when you die, this continues on. However, there's one rule. We're talking like only 2% of you Americans, because let's admit, 98% of you Americans are lazy dumbass fucks. And you're not capable. I mean, okay. You are capable of creating something of quality and beauty, but you're too lazy to do it, right? You got the ability to do it, but let's admit, you're not going to do some art sculpture, right? Most of you are going to do like the boomer artist did and become minimalist artists. With, oh, hey, it's a blue square and it's the interpretation. Just say you're a lazy, talentless fuck, okay? But for those of you, who are going to actually execute on a bucket list, those of you who are aware you're alive, not these fucking plants that look like humans that walk around like more welfare and EBT fat food, please. I'm going to major in journalism, not you idiots. All right. I'm not talking you plants with legs. I'm talking the actual humans like, oh shit, we're going to die. Better do something with my life. Something. Whatever it is, I don't know, because it depends on your abilities and skills. And yeah, some people just aren't artistic. Like, I can't draw to save my life. You don't want me making any sculpture. I'm like, hey, look at this potato thing I made. Look, I carved a potato. Obviously, writing is perhaps more my forte, but you should leave something. And you know what you could do would be really simple if you don't have anything. You know what? Go buy some gold and bury it and leave a treasure. That's something you can simply do for future generations. Like, yeah, there's a bit of gold somewhere around. Don't know where it is. The guy's already done that before. But leave something for people to say, oh, what did he do? Oh, this guy wrote a book. What did that guy do? Oh, what did she do? Oh, she did a thing. Because let's be honest, it was sad, although it's the nature of statistics in the human race, but we're talking less than 1/10 of 1% of humans are remembered. The vast, 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 vast majority of people just die, and that's it. There was nothing there. I mean, it's not that they didn't have any effect or they weren't good people or weren't good parents. But leave the world something to remember you by. Preferably not like Osama bin Laden type of stuff. Okay, not pads. You don't want to be remembered as the guy with the funny mustache. You don't want to be remembered as like Gretchen Whitmer or liberal white women in Australia who are censors and Nazis. All right. Ideally, a good thing. Like, oh, Mel Brooks, when he dies, oh, look at all the funny stuff he like. Look at that. It was funny. Then I would do this a week of pure nothingness each year. Not, yes, vacation. And certainly I'm doing that. But I mean, nothing. You don't work, you don't hike, you don't fix up the house. Like, just recover. You get up and you do whatever you want guilt-free, right? You eat whatever you want, you do whatever you want. That's what I would do. And finally, I should have grabbed it. Although you wouldn't be able to tell because it's too small. Buy one collectible thing you couldn't afford as a kid, right? Like the baseball card you could never afford. It's the old what's his name? Kevin Spacey in American Beauty. It is a 1971 what did he buy? A Pontiac Firebird? It is the car I've always wanted since I was a child, and now I have it. I rule. Get the car, the classic car, not the fucking supercar. Get the classic car you always wanted. I bought myself the 1909 SVDB Wheat Penny. Yes, I'm that nerdy. No, that did not help me get a threesome. Hey, look at my Wheat Penny. Hey, you're a lot of you be at the baseball card. Jack, he's got his Pokemon card. The signed baseball, whatever it is that you wanted, you can't afford it when you're a kid. You probably could afford it in your 20s. All of a sudden, you're 40, 50, or 60. Get it. Now, don't go into debt for it, right? But there's something that you couldn't afford as a kid that now you can as an adult. And you don't want to go crazy, but just get that one thing. That one thing. Yeah, I got this. I got the thing that everybody else wanted, but very few people had, and now I have it. And then you go, and then you could leave it because you can't take it with you. And then you leave it to whichever of the children in your life that are the least fucked up, right? Not the best. No. Which one of you is committing the least amount of crime and isn't using fucking pronouns right now? Which one of you isn't going to grow up to be a Marxist whiny piece of shit? So, whatever that is, and then I'm at this stage where I'm like, okay, I got my wheat penny. Well, what the fuck do I do with it? It's a wheat penny. And I'm like, what do I? So I don't know. I'm going to display it somehow or turn it into some kind of like piece of jewelry. I don't know. But that's it. So there you are. Let's go to the super chats if we got it. Wow, look at this. Yeah, and you guys, I bet you know what'd be great is if you guys all commented below. I'm not searching for comments. I'm just saying, like, you guys, I got a lot more eyeballs and boots on the ground with 127 of you listening. I'm sure you guys have something. Heck, I might even use this as a reference. Oh, I've never tried that. I should try that. Plains Warrior, $2. So Cappy eloped and is going on honeymoon. No, can you give me a day before we? No, I'm going to sit on my ass. I'm going to play Expedition 33. I'm going to eat caramel rolls. I'm going to smoke cigars. Femboy Fantasia, $5. My ending list is getting Aaron to not over rely on empiricism. What would you rely on, Femboy? Also, turn over a paint can and spray until it stops before putting it on the shelf. Dre, $5. Get his PhD in finance from the Carlson School of Management and teach. 2, go power walking through a dog park with Michael Vick. 3, romantic getaway with big money. Oh, what we do without Dre? Alan Beeblebox, how you doing, man? 10 generous dollars. General support and thanks. I've been stuck in North Venezuela, Canada for too many months. What an economic, social, criminal, corrupt shithole that place has become. Well, yeah. Which town? Hey, white people vote for it. All right. I can't. I voted the right way. I voted for fiscal responsibility and protecting borders. And no, we're not going to have a welfare state. But man, just oh my God, we're just so good at doing do-gooderism. Like, hey, why don't we stick to what we're really good at? War. How about that? We're not really good at this do-gooderism stuff. I don't know if you noticed Africa, we sent them trillions of dollars, nothing happened. Maybe we admit we're not like the WNBA. We just admit that we're not that good, right? Can we admit we failed? Let's just stop it with this. Femboy Fantasia, $2. It was getting hard. It was hard getting that super chat past the censor. What was it? In the ending list, not on empiricism. How is that hard getting past this? Really? Colin, $2. Cappy's real number one was the coveted Cargill internship. I've never worked or interned for Cargill. I've never worked there. Said plenty of resumes, but you never get your job. You never get hired at Cargill because Cargill isn't a real company. It's just a Potemkin village to make you believe there's a company out there. Juice Bar, $5. Thanks, Cappy. I'd also love to hear suggestions from the audience. Please put them in the comments. Yeah, this would be a good place to go check out. Hand Clogs, $5. Cappy, Sydney Sweeney is evil. She sure is because she's got blonde hair and blue eyes and a nice set of cans, and we need to stop that right away. She's a registered Republican. Is she? Right now, come on. Is she really? Like, is that just internet talk? Like those evil Republicans in the Senate. I doubt Sydney Sweeney, the individual even, let alone her. I'm sure she has a manager or an agent or whatever. I'm pretty sure, given her success and how she handles herself in public, she would know not to say that. Just like you shouldn't say, oh, I'm a Democrat and I want to kill all the white people. And oh, wait, oh, I take it. Oh, no. Oh, and then Rachel Zegler is never hired again. She didn't say that, by the way. I'm being facetious. Just as you would not mention you're a Democrat, maybe you shouldn't mention you're a Republican. And I think Sydney Sweeney knows that. Mobili, $2. What about parachuting after a base jump fly suit? Yeah, if that's your thing. I never, like, I was going through the list. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I never. Have you gone fly fishing in Montana? I actually have. Oh no, you gotta. Yeah, I'm not. Yes. Like, when I was a younger kid, I wanted to get into, like, the X Games before it was known as the X Games. I wanted to take my bikes off of jumps and snowboard. The only problem is you kinda need money to have, like, a ski lift ticket. So, and then I got old and I didn't like the cold, and then I didn't wanna do the snowboarding anymore. Prince Revolver, $5. I've been riding motorcycles for 6 months now. I definitely wanna travel across America before I turn 40. My trucking job allows me to see bits. Yeah. Well, with your motorcycle, you can go on curvy curves where your truck is probably not allowed. 6 months, yeah, if you got a couple thousand miles, maybe it's time you go, you know, you getting your safety riding down. The Blue Blur, $5. Hey, Cappy. Sorry I haven't been around lately. That's perfectly fine, man. Life of projects got me swamped here, so my 12% raise I got at work. Sorry to be lazy. Too lazy to do the that's fine. That we are merely a pit stop on the journey through life, and everyone is moving elsewhere, moving on. We're just happy you stopped on by. Oh, look who came back. He's coming back. Blue Burr is here. Look who came in, guys. Colin, $2. See the stars in true darkness like rural Montana and Utah. Yeah. Well, you could do that on your way out in Alaska or the northern parts of Canada. Prince Revolver, $2. The to do on the list. Don't be a millennial failure. I yes, that's a regret, right? We're talking purely things you need to do. For your generation, that could be absolutely something to do. Like, we're talking the top 2%, right? Shit, man, just being in good shape, I guess that would be something to do. But again, it borders on health or advice, and it is advice. But it should be, like your bucket list so you can do more things on the bucket list. Rule number 1 of the bucket list is to be in shape and live as long as possible. Mobility, $2 again. Cappy, go see a real fjord in Norway. That's mine. Yeah, it's all the way over there. And then I gotta hop on a plane, and then can I just go to Minnesota to see self-loathing Scandinavians? Can I just do that? Oh, look, a fjord. Oh my god. Maybe I don't even have to set foot on Norway. Right? Maybe I just do one of them cruises. I land wherever they take off from. Oh, a fjord. Look, you don't have to go to Norway, right? I don't have to go technically where my people are. If, by the way, Cappy thought he was Irish, turns out he's 2/3 Scandinavians. He's awfully ashamed of it. What happened to Ireland? Ah, no, that's just the name. Acts like a Plinko game. It got knocked down through the male genetic. You're very little Irish, as it turns out. The Blue Blur, $5. Not just Rachel either. You don't hear about Brie Larson anymore nowadays. Consider her meteor-like rise to stardom. Now she's a nobody. Oh, God, we got to do this. All you have to do is be quiet. You don't have to talk about your politics. You don't have to talk about your really. All you guys are. If I don't know how many of you saw Top Gun Maverick. You just have to be polite and simple, right? Tom Cruise at the beginning of the movie said, "Thank you, thank the audience, thank you for coming to see my movie." That's it. That's all you got to do. just be polite. Say, I appreciate the audience and all the people who are coming to watch this movie. I certainly hope you come see the movie. I tried my best, and I'd like to thank the Disney Corporation for giving me the opportunity to star in this show. And then you got that no kid. I mean, like actually gay guy. He talks like this. He works for Variety magazine, and he's just this scumbag who tries to bait these people. What do you think about Donald Trump? You could just say, I want to thank everybody for showing up to this movie. Like, just answer him like that. And I wanted to thank the Disney Corporation for giving me the opportunity to work in the field. I just really appreciate everyone. What do you think about Donald Trump and MAGA? I wanted to thank everybody for showing up to this movie. Fat, worthless piece of shit. The Plains Warrior, $5. Went to Dracula's castle and Frankenstein's castle on different Halloween parties back in the 90s. great parties. Like, wait, like over in Central Europe? Like legit? Like, I know uh there is some historical uh backdrop, but what's Frankenstein's? Wait, is okay, so Frankenstein, that's a work of fiction. Are these places like in the United States? I could say go see Guar, technically, if you wanted to go to concerts. Guar would be kind of. All right, there you guys go. Link below. Zero world problems. Standards of living in a post-materialist economy. Please consider that. That will give you some ideas, more of the life advice. But if you do all those things in zero world problems, then you'll definitely have a lot of free time and money to go live your bucket list. And that's it. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.